Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are tackling a book that has, no joke, changed millions of lives. I'm talking about Atomic Habits by James Clear. His whole idea, and it's a game changer, is that these tiny, almost invisible habits, they are the secret to unlocking a completely different you. So let's dive right in.
So let me ask you something. Why is it so darn hard to make a new habit stick? I mean, we've all been there, right? You set that big, ambitious goal, a New Year's resolution, maybe some huge life change. And then what happens? A few weeks later, poof, you're right back where you started. It's so frustrating. But what if the problem isn't you? What if it's not your motivation, but your whole approach?
Well, here's the answer, and it's the absolute core of Atomic Habits. The secret to getting those incredible results you want? It's not about some massive, heroic effort. Forget that. It's all about the power of these tiny, small, consistent daily actions. Think of it like compound interest for your life.
Okay, so that brings us right to the first major rule. This is the bedrock of the whole book, really. It's the 1% improvement philosophy. And believe me, this simple idea is what everything else is built on.
So here's the deal with the 1% rule. James Clear's whole argument is this. If you can just get 1% better, just 1% at something each day, you'll end up with some truly extraordinary growth. Now, it's not going to feel like much at first. Day 1, day 2, you might not notice a thing. But that tiny improvement, it's that compound interest for self-development we were just talking about.
So you're probably thinking, okay, 1%. What does that actually look like? What kind of real impact can a change that small have over, say, a year? Well, get ready for this, because the math behind it is, honestly, it's staggering. 37 times. No, that's not a typo. If you get just 1% better each day by the end of one single year, you will be nearly 37 times better than when you started. It's just the most incredible, powerful example of how these tiny, consistent wins add up to something massive.
All right, so if 1% a day is the what, the next big question is how? How do we actually do it? Well, the next two rules are all about practical strategies to make building good habits feel, well, almost effortless. This brings us to rule number 2, a really cool technique called habit stacking. The idea is simple. Instead of trying to invent a whole new slot in your day for a habit, you just piggyback it onto something you already do without thinking. So, for example, your brain already knows, I make my morning tea. You just stack the new habit on top. After I make my morning tea, then I'll listen to a motivational audio. See? The new habit just gets pulled along for the ride. And then there's rule number 3. Design your environment. This is huge. Look, willpower is finite. It runs out. So instead of relying on it, you just make your good habits the easiest, most obvious choice. You want to eat healthier? Don't make it a battle. Get the junk food out of the fridge. Stock it with the good stuff. Put a big bowl of fruit right there on the counter. You make the right choice, the path of least resistance.
Okay, so we've talked about what to do, but building the right habits isn't just about actions. It's about your mindset. This next part is all about a really crucial shift in thinking, moving your focus away from the finish line and onto the steps you take every single day.
And that leads us straight to rule number 4. Focus on your systems, not your goals. This is such a powerful distinction. Think about it. A goal is the result you want, right? I want to write a book. But the system, that's the process that'll actually get you there. I will write 1 page every single day. And like Clear says, and this is a quote you should write down, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. If you have a good system, success is pretty much the automatic outcome.
And speaking of systems, that brings us to our 5th and final rule, and it's all captured in this one idea. Consistency is everything. It's the key. The real magic of habits? It doesn't happen on day 1. It only kicks in when you show up, day in and day out.
So how do you stay consistent? You follow the don't break the chain rule. And look, life is going to happen. You're going to miss a day. It's inevitable, and that's okay. The golden rule, the most important part is this: never miss twice. So you miss a workout today? Fine, but you make damn sure you get the next one in. Because 1 missed day, that's just an accident. 2, that's the beginning of a whole new bad habit. You cannot let that chain break.
So we've gone through these 5 really powerful rules. Let's pull it all together now. Let's talk about how you, yes you, can start putting this to work in your own life. Like today, right now.
All right, so let's do a quick recap. What are the big takeaways here? First, remember that huge success is hiding inside your tiny daily habits. Second, start small, just 1% better, but never stop improving. Third, design your life so the good habits are the easy ones. And finally, focus on your daily system, not some far-off goal. That's the whole playbook.
And that brings us to the final and honestly the most important question of all, because the biggest lesson from this whole book is that everything starts with just one small positive choice. So I'll leave you with this. What is the one tiny atomic habit that you're going to start today to build the future you actually want? Thanks for joining me on this explainer.